Sometimes things happen and things break. Whether it was from an accident, lack of maintenance, or sabotage by the Russian government, worry not, we're here to help. We'll start with your roller bearings. Roller bearings can fail if not cleaned and greased often enough, or after many years of heavy use. If your roller is able to tilt or rock heavily, or if you find roller needles on the counter after maintenance, it is time to replace the bearing in your roller. We have roller rebuild kits available on our website ready to ship. Replacing your roller is fairly easy. First, remove the roller from the pivot arm by its threaded axle bolt. Push the axle bolt out of the roller and set the washers aside. You can use a press or a bench vise to press the bearing out of the roller. A quick and dirty method can use the axle bolt to push and a socket to catch. Press the new bearing in with the engraving facing upwards. Pack thoroughly with food-grade grease. Slide the new included metal washer over the axle bolt and insert into the bottom of the roller. Twist it as it goes to work in the new grease. Carefully press the bronze washer over the upper portion of the axle bolt. Make sure the washer is centered and seated before reinstalling the roller. If not, the soft bronze washer can be pinched and prevent the axle bolt from installing all the way. Reinstall the roller, making sure to insert into the correct hole for your can size. Double check by pushing the pivot arm in and making sure the infeed screw hits the upper chuck bearing. If the roller collides with the chuck, it is either in the wrong hole or it is not installed all the way. Tighten the axle bolt with your wrench. Now let's focus on the axle bolt itself. It is possible to break an axle bolt by pinching the bronze washer, installing in the wrong hole, using the machine with a seized roller, or improperly calibrating. If this happens, the broken threads will need to be removed from the pivot arm before reinstalling a new axle bolt. First, unplug the machine before we start poking metal tools inside. Then, remove the top cover, bezel, and back cover. Next, remove the spring retention pin of the side you will be repairing. Remove the upper chuck head with an Allen wrench by tapping the end with your fist. Remove the large access screw on the side of the machine. Use a 1/8 inch Allen key to loosen the set screw that is deeper in the same hole. Adjust the pivot arm as low as it will go. Swing the pivot arm in to access the Allen screws on the back. You can now work on the pivot arm more easily. Use a drill with a smaller bit to carefully get the threads to catch and spin in and out the rest of the way. Make sure the pivot arm sits flush when reinstalling and tightening its Allen screws. Slide the metal washer over the new axle bolt and insert into the bottom of your roller. Twist it as it goes to work in the new grease. Carefully press the bronze washer over the upper portion of the axle bolt. Make sure the washer is centered and seated before reinstalling the roller. If not, the soft bronze washer can be pinched and prevent the axle bolt from installing all the way. Reinstall the roller, making sure to insert it into the correct hole for your can size. Loosen the height adjusting set screw one more time to reset to the correct height. There should be no visible gap between the top edge of the chuck and the upper lip of the roller, but you should be able to turn it by hand without resistance. Tighten the set screw while spinning the roller to make sure it is not dragging. Reinstall the access screw. Reinstall the top cover, bezel, and back cover. Lastly, let's take a look at the cam that runs the seaming cycle. It is possible to permanently damage the cam if you install rollers in the incorrect hole or if the machine is incorrectly calibrated. First, unplug the machine. Then, remove the top cover, bezel, and back cover. Remove the lock nut on top of the rear gear with a 3/8 inch wrench. Remove the washers, bearing, and gear assembly and pay attention to the order they were in. Using pliers, remove the 2 spring retainer pins by pulling them up and out of the rocker arms. Remove the lock nut, spring washer, and washer on the forward gear. Use a 3/32 inch Allen key to loosen the gear hub set screw. Remove the small gear. Lift the large gear and cam assembly up and out of the seamer. Install the new assembly and make sure the thick section of the cam is oriented to the front of the seamer. Replace the gear, making sure that the set screw is oriented to contact the flat surface on the shaft. Thread the set screw just enough to touch the flat surface. Replace the washer, spring washer, and nut, making sure the spring washer is concave side down. Tighten the nut just enough to fully compress the spring washer. Then, fully tighten the gear set screw. Rotate the rockers so that they are contacting the cam. Extend the springs and replace the pins. The springs should be inside the rocker arm trunnion, and the open end of the loop should face to the inside of the machine. Replace the gear assembly and washers in the order they were removed. The nut should only be contacting the top washer, but not tight against it. Replace the covers. If you have any other issues or questions about your seamer, check out our other videos. If you still have questions, then you can email us at info@octoberdesign.com.